no errors, so that's good.
There we go.
Holy smokes, Mike! I think we're live on both.
Hey,
Yes,
hey,
we.
nice work. Look at that. That was good iteration. I mean, we did that. We did that in under 5 minutes. We went live, turned it around, pushed the stop button, restarted, and did it in under 10 minutes. In under 5 minutes. Nice work.
Okay, so that's the part that you saw.
Oh, I know. I understand.
I've been here
But
futzing around since 5 o'clock.
that's awesome. So I am not seeing us live on LinkedIn for whatever reason.
Yeah, it takes a minute for it to fire up, just like it takes like 15 minutes for it to
Oh,
disconnect when
yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
It
So isn't
should be
that
there
awesome?
momentarily.
Like you just highlighted it. How many times is there just a bunch of chaos going on under the water line and everything looks peaceful, but nobody knows how that duck's feet are paddling away down at the bottom trying to figure out life and get things moving along.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Is that a
as you,
metaphor?
yeah, I'm still trying to just get
There you
the.
go. We are live. So my favorite metaphor movie quote comes from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, here comes. What is it?
Nothing goes over my head. I am too fast. I will jump and catch it.
Okay, that's good. But I'm still
That was
futzing with
awesome.
this. I don't think we're on YouTube.
We're not, and I don't even think we're on LinkedIn either. Like it's just, I hate when tech does not work for us. Like it showed up, but what's weird is for whatever reason,
According
I'm
to
trying to,
Ecamm, it says we are streaming.
okay, cool.
It says that it worked.
All right, let's see.
Let me get a new tab.
All right, I am confirmed. We are live on LinkedIn, so I see it. I'm watching the poor recap of that quote. Like I butchered the quote. That's one of my superpowers. So everybody has a superpower. One of my superpowers is butchering quotes. I can butcher quotes like nobody else's business, and it'll sound like it might have been one, but it just wasn't the right one.
Yeah.
So I've confirmed we are live on LinkedIn,
and it looks like we're on YouTube as well. Yes, we are live on YouTube as well.
And we are live today, not liver, and we are not her. We are here. So there we go. Yeah.
I swear it was a Monday.
So in that scene, what ends up happening is the Guardians are escaping the prison, and Rocket says, basically it's a metaphor. It'll go over his head or something like that to Drax, or about Drax, and Drax is like, nothing gets over my head. I am too fast. I will catch it. You're just like, it's just such an awesome freaking movie. It's one of my favorite in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
In the universe, yes.
The original Guardians of the Galaxy.
They do a great job, that is for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. We're live. We got a script. It's like,
I just have to put it in the right spot so I can read it. I got it.
Half a tank of gas, pack of cigarettes, and our full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, and we're wearing sunglasses.
We are. You know what I do kind of want to fix? Maybe you could ad-lib some more Guardians of the Galaxy.
What do you want?
While I fix the vertical view for clips later.
Oh. You know, we should test. I know we haven't tested it yet, but we should test. What the raw output looks like if I drop it all into Opus Clips. I know you've put the raw stuff into Google Docs. It's a super simple text. What I like about the picture this morning is I look jacked. I'm lean. like I look
Oh yeah.
lean and ready to go in this picture. But what kind of logo do I have to have on my shirt? Like I've got to get
That's our logo, and I didn't even ask it to do that. It's
look at
LDMB.
that.
Yeah.
See, there we go.
Look at it. It even put it on my collar.
Oh, look at that. You do. You got a little extra. You got a little extra. They call that flair. Is
The
that
extra bling bling on my collar.
what's awesome is now we can so maybe when we take the show live out, like out in the world, go IRL, as the kids like to say. Maybe what happens is we get some of those little clips, and so you could have like LW B and M, and have cufflinks or a little one of those little what were those things called, like
Lapel pin.
a little lapel pin, like this kind of a thing. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
this one's from Rotary, celebrating 100 years.
Wow.
Manufacturer that did some work
That's
with one of these
impressive.
computers. Yeah, 100 years. Cool thing about so do you I forget. We talked about this the other day. I think you take your the vehicles into, well, one of them doesn't need oil. I guess the other one does. Do you take them in to get taken care? You take them to Jiffy Lube.
I
You
take it
take them
like
in. You don't.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you take them to these places, other than like the ones where they've got the sunken in kind of thing, where people walk underneath the vehicle and they don't actually have to get the vehicle up the air, they typically have to get a vehicle up off the air and or off the ground, excuse me. One of the manufacturers that sells lifts that does that is a company called Rotary. And the reason why, although none of their lifts are rotary lifts anymore, they're all hydraulic. The reason why they were rotary is the the lift would rotate and spiral up, kind of like a chair would when you go get your hair cut. Like back in the old days, in order to get your hair up, your chair up to the level
Yeah.
that the
Yeah. They'd
barber is
spin
going to
you
go and
around.
do the work, spin you around. So they used to do the same kind of thing. And that rotary lift was how they lifted the vehicle up back in the day. And Rotary in 2025 celebrated their 100-year anniversary.
Wow.
And that's the rest of the story. So
That's almost
we
as
kick off
cool
the
as the
story
play
time.
button icon.
See, look at maybe that's a thing that we need to do. We just kind of go back in and be like, hey, how was this built? Have have you gotten
It's our quick
into
overview warm up.
the Moonshots podcast? Do you know what that is? Are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with it, but I don't think I've added it to my list of must listens yet.
It is absolutely phenomenal if you are getting into kind of like this new age of tech. It's kind of like what the way I kind of look at what we're doing here. We're the in the learning and development and enablement cross section of what's happening inside that show, with people who have a heck of a lot larger following and many more downloads and many more views. We're talking like hundreds of thousands of views in the first couple of days that their stuff goes live. But what's cool is they'll go through a similar kind of flow. They'll talk about a news story, like what's in the news, and then they'll go back and forth and engage on it. So it might be something to take a look at and just kind of see the style that happens there. The other thing that's awesome about it is how some really, really smart people who've been around this space for a while also have it's this kind of like confirmation bias, but they have a similar view of they've never seen things move as quickly as they are. And like the speed of change that's happening right now is it's important for us to understand and realize that, hey, there are people who have no idea that this change is happening, and then there are people who are somewhat aware of the change that's happening, whatever you want to call the change, but somewhat aware of the change that's happening, and they might fall into a camp of fear, or they might fall into a camp of optimism. And then there are others who are actually in it, doing things and are working through it. And for the ones who are in it and doing things and working through it, and I put myself into that category, I'm absolutely fascinated and excited about the speed, but at the same time looking at it and saying, um, I don't know how people keep up. Like, I just don't know how. I
Yeah.
don't know how. I don't know how. I mean, I have a perspective on how. So when I say I don't know how, I think that's more broadly.
Yeah.
When it comes to actually doing it, you do the same thing that you do anytime there's chaos and confusion and all of that. Is you apply your OODA loop, which is a John Boyd thing: observe, orient, decide, and act. So you observe, take things in, you orient yourself around the operating environment, you make a decision, and you take action, and you just keep doing that stuff, and you'll move forward. The challenge is a lot of people, when stuff changes quickly, is they fall into the trap of analysis paralysis, not wanting to make a decision, not wanting to take action, not wanting to do these things. And that's why, but what I hope the people who join on and listen to us in the morning and get involved and add comments and do all of those things are the ones who are thinking, hey, I want to lead here. I want to be a part of how we move forward in this progress. So a couple of to-dos for you. Number one, listen. I'm going to send you an episode that from yesterday that was really good.
Okay.
Where they start to get into the Sam Altman, Elon Musk trial that's going to happen here in the next, a little bit later this month.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. I'm warmed up. I know you're warmed up because you had all your stuff. It's really cool to see the adjustment. Like if you've ever watched any of those movies where people are like, there's all this other stuff that's going on, but when the lights go on, I got to make sure everything's kind of prim and proper. And that what they're doing, they pull up like the green screen in the background. That's what happens for Brent about well, it depends on, it could be 2 minutes after we go live, or it could be 5 minutes before we go live. But Brent does not actually work in a place where there's a rock background or a brick background. You don't work in a comedy club.
Do not. It's such a standard backdrop in all of the apps these days, and I just default to it. I used to put the images that we use for the thumbnails as my background, but it got too busy and it got too colorful and like the other ones. So I'm keeping it neutral.
Good.
Are we ready for some news for folks today?
I'm ready.
I think we're ready to rock and roll. I think I've got my script ready. Let's just kick this thing off. Hopefully this works. I mean, who knows this morning?
It's time for today's headlines.
Good morning, corporate learners, slide deck survivors, and people who still think synergy is a real word. It is Wednesday, April 15th, 2026. I'm Brent, and I just realized my AI assistant has better work-life balance than I do.
And I'm Mike. I spent all night trying to prompt an LLM to explain why my coffee was cold. It told me to iterate for the temperature. We are in trouble, folks. Man, it's starting to use my language.
Today's breaking news.
Let's jump into the big one. I love it when they use fancy words. Google.org just dropped $10 million into a partnership with the Manufacturing Institute to train 40,000 workers in AI. We're talking AI 101 for manufacturing and advanced AI for technicians.
40,000 people, Brent. That is a lot of people learning how to tell a robot, please don't crush my hand. I have a mortgage. This is huge for L&D because it is the shift from AI is a cool toy to AI is the literal wrench in your toolbox. If you aren't building AI for the front line, right now you're basically teaching people how to use a rotary phone at a SpaceX launch.
Exactly. It's about closing the digital divide before the divide becomes a canyon with sharks at the bottom.
It's time for technology and innovation.
Speaking of robots taking our lunch money, NVIDIA just handed a massive grant to Washington State University to develop an AI-driven framework for teaching. They're calling it a collaborative partner in the classroom.
A
I'm
collaborative
surprised they didn't
partner.
call it AIDA.
Ooh, yes, nice.
AIDD. What's ADDIE? ADD.
ADDIE.
Oh, sorry. AIDDIE.
ADDIE.
Maybe that's what Washington State will come up with.
If we're lucky. 2.0. A collaborative partner, Mike. In high school, my collaborative partner was a guy named Stinky Pete who let me copy his homework in exchange for half a ham sandwich.
And then showed up later on Breaking Bad. While NVIDIA's partner doesn't smell like ham, it's a virtual TA that provides 24/7 personalized support. For L&D pros, this is the blueprint for adaptive learning. We're moving away from the one-size-fits-none LMS model to a bot-on-your-shoulder model. It's kind of like Clippy, but instead of asking if you're writing a letter, it actually knows what the hell it's talking about.
And now for our human and culture segment.
Now let's talk about the vibe in the HR office. A new report from ISACA and UNESCO is sounding the alarm on AI governance. Apparently, 57% of employees admit to using AI in ways that definitely violate company policy.
You mean prompting the AI to write my performance review so I can spend more time watching cat videos isn't a policy?
Surprisingly, no, it is not. The big takeaway for us, though, in L&D is that L&D is the new compliance. Regulators aren't just looking for a check-the-box course anymore. They want proof of human oversight. If your AI hallucinates a legal strategy and your company gets sued, the robot told me to do it is not a valid legal defense in 2026.
And now, a random industry with an L&D problem. Solving the L&D problem.
Always gets me going in the morning. Let's double down on manufacturing. Beyond the Google News, the National Science Foundation, NSF, just launched AI Ready America. They're coordinating with state governments to align AI skills frameworks for sectors like energy and agriculture.
It's the blue collar to new collar revolution. If you're an L&D manager in a factory, your job just got 10x more technical. You aren't just teaching safety, you're teaching prompt engineering for CNC technicians or machines. It's basically Iron Man, but with more paperwork and fewer explosions.
And now for the news in authoring tools.
Finally, the nerds at Adobe just dropped the April 2026 update for Adobe Learning Manager. We've got QR codes for attendance, finally joining the year 2015, and a new AI assistant that helps learners find answers inside the content.
They also added weighted checklist scoring because apparently some tasks are more important than others. Who knew? This is the trend, folks. Authoring tools are becoming experience ecosystems. And if your tool doesn't have an AI assistant and multi-language VTT tracks by now, it's basically a digital stone tablet.
Indeed it is. And that's our show. Go forth and build some training that doesn't make people want to weep openly at their desks.
All right, what'd you think?
I think it's a shorter script.
With everything that you had going on this morning, you probably didn't really take in all the stories while we were reading them.
You know, it's interesting. I was working on them so much this morning that I actually did while I was stressing out about the technology breaking. because Google, before I discovered that the actual systems needed updates and I had to restart everything, and that typically breaks everything. I went through and the Google Slides wasn't making the images the way I wanted them to, so I futzed around with that for a while, which meant I read the image prompt that the executive producer provides,
Yeah.
and the story. So, anyways, enough behind the scenes.
So, so it's not that you retained them from the reading of the script live in the cold read. You had done a pre-read, which is not so. Your read wasn't cold; it was like lukewarm.
Well, sort yes and no, but like glancing at the image prompt and reading what kind of a picture it's trying to make is different than
Yeah.
actually reading the script. So,
Well, hold on, you can't just understand a story based on the headline or the prompt that created the headline.
uh, well, I got pretty close on most of them, but I just love the way the executive producer writes the scripts. That's always the part that's exciting for me.
It is exciting. Um,
Google's
I,
$10
I
million
think this.
manufacturing thing. So we hit manufacturing twice today, and manufacturing is a big deal. You and I talked about possibly adding a segment on Industry 4.0, which is all about IT in manufacturing, and updating that, the sort of the deskless worker as well that's in that area. So it's interesting that we're going to start seeing more of those. And I think the interesting thing about AI for me that I think is being I don't think it's being missed per se, but we just aren't talking about it so much. I think how virtual reality um, has always done this kind of ebb and flow. Like it's really popular and then it crashes and burns. And then it's
Yeah,
really popular, everybody invests in it and they're building tools and they're building stuff, and then it crashes and burns. And
yeah,
nobody talks about it anymore. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's really big and popular again. And it's like, what the heck, of all of the really cool technologies that have popped in our lifetime, virtual reality is actually really, really cool, but it has just never quite stuck. But I think AI is the tool that it's been missing. And I think the two together
yeah.
are 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 bringing that 3D existence back into importance and being usable, to be honest. So
Yeah.
that's
It's
my
kind of like
take.
Voltron. Yeah, a bunch of technologies come together to form a super technology.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all kind of like each one of them was missing a piece of the puzzle, and it needed the other to build the thing that we've all been waiting for.
And then our bot, our executive producer goes ahead and says synergy is not a word.
I know.
the Which is what we're talking about, right? Like it's
Exactly.
another good. There's irony, right?
I think yeah, so
Um,
I was going to say, well, I also think he said it tongue in cheek too, which is funny because AI can be subtle with its humor.
yes.
But it's only now
The
it's perceived. But I don't know, 10 million bucks into a partnership with the Manufacturing Institute. That's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
Um, and I think a lot of it though has to do with a lot of the government money that's being pumped into companies that do programs like that for retraining and reskilling. The whole skills conversation is huge as well. And in order to make that happen, um, yeah, there needs to be a lot more um, programs for people to get reskilled, and that shouldn't just land on the hands of the universities and whatnot, because they'll just take all the money and screw it up.
well,
Um,
it's academic. What's that they say? Those who can't do teach. Is that a way to irritate our audience?
More
Um,
than likely, yes.
the, the,
I, I
the
I've always liked to reframe it as those that are done putting up with the bullshit in corporate America teach.
mm, yeah. The I think I think it's super interesting right now. Um, And in fact, so we were talking a little bit about moonshots, that podcast, and one of the things that came up, I think yesterday in that episode that I'm going to send to you, is about one of the challenges in academia is um, a lack of acceptance and kind of awareness that things are moving as quickly as they are. Like being able to step back from the thing and watch and see the whole picture instead of just being in kind of the day to day doing the thing that was on the syllabus or doing the thing that was on the whatever. So,
I saw. Yeah, maybe it was something that you did send me. I'm trying to think of where I was going to go with that, but it was.
I see that we've got, while you're thinking through that, I see that we've got a couple
lost
more
it.
people that have joined us. Just as a reminder, we do this every Monday through Thursday morning from 6 o'clock in the morning until 7 here in Arizona on the Pacific Coast time zone, PST or Pacific Daylight. I forget, whatever one it is. And if you're on the East Coast, it is 9 o'clock in the morning for you, just past 9:30. And we do this Monday through Thursday. Share the news as produced by our executive producer, which is a bot. We read a script, which puts me out of my comfort zone. We add a little bit of humor in there above and beyond what the bot puts in there. And then we kind of talk about it and some things that are on the cutting room floor, share some of our experiences. And ultimately, what our objective here is to help you kind of get comfortable with the idea of moving forward when it comes to this technology, like using the technology, applying the technology, figuring out different ways to use it based on what others are doing in the market, or at least what's showing up for the executive producer from a PR perspective. And if you want to continue the conversation, head to livewithbrentandmike.com. You can sign up there, be part of the Slack channel where we keep the conversation going throughout the week, and people share some of the cool projects that they're working on in the context of using emerging technology like AI to enable humans to do what humans do better. So emerging and enablement tech. Brent, did you have time to think through your thought?
I did, yes, and this particular story is what jarred my memory back to if somebody said, if since all of the right answers are now free, and this of course will be debated like crazy, but I just thought the statement was an interesting one to think about.
Yeah.
Since all of the right answers are free, why are we making students try to come up with right answers? Shouldn't there now be a different goal or a different objective?
What's meant by right answers?
Well, yeah. So that's what that's what I think the point that they were trying to get at was, how, and I don't know. I mean, this is the existential, conversation or issue that we need to figure out, right? It's like, because this is so early and everybody is still skeptical of the hallucinations and AI, quote unquote, getting it wrong, and all that kind of stuff. I think a statement like that can be very, it can be very easy for a lot of answers, whatever. There's no way AI, we still need to teach people how to come up with the answers on their own. But to your point earlier about how fast everything is moving, in 6 months, we went from, AI being dumb as a bag of hammers to actually being able to figure stuff out. It was less than a year ago where there were really, really big and conversations I remember seeing about people saying, well, AI will never be funny because it doesn't know how to be creative. It'll never be creative. Humans will always still have to be creative. And I'm like, okay, look at everything that Mike and I are doing. Now, you can argue whether or not that's funny or not. I've heard that 25% of the population don't even have a funny bone. Like they don't even laugh at they don't even know what funny is, you know.
25%?
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
Well, now explains why at least one member of my family never laughs at my jokes.
There could be other reasons for that, but we don't have to cover that here. But I mean, and then look at these images. Everything that we do. So to Mike's point earlier, explaining the show, you know, you may look at all of this stuff that has been created and go, oh, there's no consistency. All the fonts are different, and you know, it's blah 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 blah. That's okay. We don't care. The purpose is we're using AI and we're testing it and we're seeing what AI can do and what kind of prompts are needed to do the things that people need to do. We're learning just like you guys are. And it never used to be able to do text. It was just gibberish for the longest time. And that was not that long ago. It was just, it would just put a bunch of like symbols up on the screen that it thought was text. Now it is no problem at all. It has zero problems dealing with text at all. It might misspell a word here and there, hiccup here and there, but all you have to do is prompt it differently and it gets it right. So,
well, and it will correct.
So what is right? To back to my original point, circling back, you know, who knows? It's going to get better, and it's getting better faster. So what does that look like?
What do you think? What do you think people? What do you think moms said to kids back in the 60s? About, or even teachers said to kids back in the 60s about what will rot your brain?
I think you've gone too far back. I don't think there was any.
Comic books. Comic books are going to rot your brain. That's just trash. Like, who needs comic books? Like, that was that. Another good one is the whole image of all the people that are on the bus and they joke about, hey, today everybody just is staring at their phones. Well, the image is everybody taking up more space, opening up and looking at a newspaper.
Reading the newspapers.
But like, there's always something. There's always something. Somebody always looks at it. It's like, kids these days, they don't get to do whatever. Here's the thing. You evolve and you integrate, and you know, like so I can do math in my head pretty quick and be relatively accurate, not necessarily accurate in some instance when we're starting to talk about averages and numbers and do certain things make sense. There's certain math that I cannot do in my head. And I would never take the math that I can do quickly in my head and implement it as like doctrine, right? Like there's different levels. Now there are other people who could do that same math and they will be on point, no flaws, human calculator type stuff. And then there are other people who are just like, I don't know how the hell you can add stuff up that quick. Like, like that. So there's different layers of this whole thing. What you start to do is you say, okay, well, hey, I can use the calculator to move a little bit faster when it comes to putting things together. Jen and I were talking about it just last night. Doing the calculation from euro to dollars because of something that we've got planned a little bit later this year. So integrated into the calculator now, not having to go out and go to Google and do what's the current exchange rate. Like integrated into the calculator because we're dealing with a digital calculator that has access to all of this information. Trust, but verify is very important. If you just take what everybody tells you as the answer, like if I tell you the best way to make eggs, the best way, my brother thinks I make eggs like a freaking psychopath, but the best way to make eggs is fry them up and then cut them up with a spatula in the pan. That is the best way to make eggs. And if someone's never made eggs before, they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's the best way to make eggs. And then somebody says, holy crap, I had no idea that you don't actually have to cut the eggs up. You can have a poached egg. You can boil it. Or, oh, you mean I can hard boil this whole thing and leave it in its shell for a while? Like the best way is your best way. don't impress that upon everybody else for it to be their best way, right? And that's part of this whole critical thinking, creative thinking thing that's happening. And now we've got
Yeah.
this new enablement technology that gives us an opportunity to work things a lot faster. I had not put together a line of code in 51 point X, let's call it 51.6 years of my life, had not put together a line of code. Now I'm going in and I'm actually editing HTML and adding things like breaks into HTML to inside the web page, because now I understand where they go, and I'm getting corrected by the tool when it finds a bug and says, "Oh, the break that you put in there isn't the right break. This is how the break needs to be," right? And it's catching those things. These are things that I'm learning as a 51.5-year-old because it helps me move faster.
Yeah.
Not because I'm going to be an HTML expert. I could give a shit about HTML like that, but now I understand how it works, and I understand the structure. I understand the layout, and now I don't have to go to somebody else to have them go and do a bunch of the updates that we want to do to our website. And that's powerful.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's hugely powerful, and I think everybody that's probably watching has their own example of that, their own experience going through it as well, right? It's not um, it's it's not just the coding, but getting back to our stories here on the NVIDIA piece. I just wanted to get back to that because it talks about the adaptive learning and how um, the one size fits none LMS model to a bot on your shoulder model. So, and I think the image does a good job of kind of explaining this, right? I mean, the interesting thing is that kind of jumped out to me in the picture is if you look at, so you got this one, college aged kid with his AITA, helping instruct him and whatever. But then if you look in the background, there's a bunch of students just chilling with their laptops at the table, just sitting there. What happens if you're in the library and now all of a sudden everybody is talking to their AITA? Are there new policies that get put into place, or are people going to be going around going, shh? Is there still going to be a librarian cruising around telling everybody, turn off that AITA right now? Quit talking to your AITA.
Well, and what's talking, right? Like, what's the communication? Like, how different can the communication be? I guess when I'm
please switch to text mode while you're in the library.
Yeah, while I'm looking at this, I actually envision it as, hey, we're seeing this perspective that's not really real, meaning it's there, but it's not really real. Like it's there as a thing, and that the two in the back have the same kind of thing. Everybody has their own same kind of thing. You just don't see it. So it's not getting into your thing. The other thing that's kind of cool about this one, and the Gemini has created a version of this image before. Like we've seen this a version of this image, like we're doing the visual storytelling of this image at one point in time. May not have necessarily been in a library, or it might have been in a library in a little bit different context. But it's the other thing that I think that we're starting to see is there's similarities in these images that are being recreated and helping the story kind of move things along. There's some patterns that repeat. Can you throw up the manufacturing one again?
This one?
Well, that one's a cool one. How about not that one? The one with the that one right there. So imagine what someone says is like, hey, so is if someone's got their VR glasses on, why is there this screen? And is it really a screen in front of them? Like, is that just in? Because the first time I looked at it, I thought it was like one of those liquid glass displays where someone's wearing
Oh,
VR glasses and interacting with the liquid glass display. And I was like, why?
well,
Why would you do
yeah.
it? Now
So
what I'm
we're
seeing is
it
we're seeing a version of her view.
exactly, yeah. Where this is the way she sees it inside of those glasses. So I was going to say, yeah, if you've never tried on these glasses before, this is what she's looking at, and this tech. The funny thing is that this tech, if you take the AI out of it, this tech has been around for over a decade, and
Yeah.
it's been like, I think it's probably been at least 10 years since I've been to the big tech show in Vegas. What the heck is that called? All the new
CES.
tech, all the new tech gets announced there. And now I can't even think of the name of it.
CES.
So yes, that's it. There was a whole section there one year. This was back when people in L&D were like, this will never be a thing. It's, it's not a, the virtual reality thing isn't a thing. There was a whole giant section of all the hardware manufacturers creating different types of glasses. And it even had the software vendors there selling this exact type of solution. And they were, and I remember when I first saw the area, I was blown away. And I spent probably 4 hours walking around talking to those vendors going, is this, is it, you guys, is this real? Do your customers use this for training? And they're like, well, yeah, of course. This is how they do they can see the documentation, they can see specs, and they can do all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, how come nobody knows this exists? And he's like, yeah, we kind of ask ourselves the same question.
Well, it's kind of like I know I poke fun at this guy from DevLearn, and I wasn't there in the real conversation, but I was there to talk with you right after the conversation. The guy was like, "Dude, could you imagine if everybody had access on here on this device? Like, this is where you need to go." And I mean, mobile learning is one of those things that's been discussed for a long time. I mean, the first iteration of mobile learning, I think, were textbooks.
Yeah.
They were able to, you can take them, out of the classroom and use them and pay ungodly amounts of money for not only the textbook, but then the used version of the textbook. And then when you went back to sell your used version back, you get like 10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, right.
And they,
It was a racket. I'm telling you, it was a total racket.
well, and so one of the biggest objections that we ran into as you start to digitize some of the content and get that content out there is there were a number of people who are like, "Why can't go resell my used books?" And you're like, okay. I get it, but anyway, I mean, I could go down a rabbit hole on that whole thing because you did that digital transformation, transformation is not new. We've done transformation for a long time. Like and this isn't the last transformation that we're going to go through.
Oh
Like
yeah, but everybody thinks so.
do,
Like that's when you're knee deep in it, you're blind to the future,
yeah.
and this is this changes a few things, and everyone's kind of freaking out about it. But there's going to be another big change that happens that turns the knobs of the world, and yeah, like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Do we do that for TV shows?
I'm all out of coffee, so I can't.
I'm kind of wondering, maybe we should get the Department of Labor and the Department of Education to start sponsoring the podcast.
Yeah, it seems like it because those stories pop up like crazy. Like, well, this whole NVIDIA story with the AITA, I was just re-looking at some of the details of it, and it's really about Washington State University now developing this AI-driven framework for teaching. And this is what people have been, posting on LinkedIn and trying to figure out on their own, right? Everybody's got their own new way of how, training is going to go and how teaching should go. And here's the new AI framework for how instructional design should be done and blah, blah, blah. And NVIDIA just handed Washington State University a wad of cash to come up with exactly what you said, sort of the AI Addy. It's exactly what they're going to be coming up with. And good Lord, if they use the same acronym, I think everybody in the industry will throw their hands up and throw up in their mouths.
I think it'll be awesome because I want to see it. Like, I want to see him just add a little I in between the first A and the DA.
AIDDIAE.
It'd be so cool.
Let's see what that looks like. What would it be like? AIDDIE, like something like that.
Yeah, that's what it would be. Just a little I.
Oh, a little I.
Yeah. And you don't even need the dash in there because it's kind of clear. It's like A, little I, DDIE.
And without the first A, because you still have to do analysis though. So maybe it's A, little I, DDIE. Maybe that's it.
It's like, it's AI. There you go. I don't know.
No, I think it's just one A. Yeah. So I think it's just AIDDIE. I think that's it.
Yeah. See, there we go. We just did it. Can we get a slice of the 10?
Yeah, NVIDIA, can you send us a grant, please?
Yeah, just like just like 10% of that would do.
Listen, we like to think we're doing the hard work here, people. It's like we are cranking this stuff out. Without us, the transformation that we're all going through would never happen. Oh my. Hey, let's jump down to authoring tools. We don't have our Adobe expert with us today, which I'm very disappointed in. I don't know what Craig's up to, but the fact that he doesn't make us a priority is really, really disturbing to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even remember what the story was about this. I just
was Adobe. What did Adobe do? They just dropped Adobe Learning Manager. We've got QR codes for attendance finally joining the year 2015, and a new AI assistant that helps learners find answers inside the content.
Well,
what's new? I'm just pulling up the what's new in here.
They also added weighted checklist scoring.
Yeah. Multi-language support is available for job age, checklist questions, VTT tracks, so video text tracks. AI assistant helps learners get answers within the learning experience, is what Adobe is saying here in this update.
Yeah, I was going to ask from a technical perspective. Everybody knows what a VTT file is, right? If you've ever needed to go get the script,
video text tracks, video text tracks. Video text tracks.
And it's just a file you can download. If you upload a video to YouTube, you can download the transcription, and it gets downloaded to you as a VTT file.
Got it. You want to hit the cutting room floor?
Let's hit the cutting room floor before we call it a day, for sure. It's always fun to do the cutting room floor. Folks, if you're new here, the cutting room floor is where all of the stories from our executive producer's search of the entire internet to get these stories. These are the ones that he selected, but then threw on the cutting room floor when he started building the script.
The entire internet.
The entire internet. Number one, Training Magazine, L&D as a driver of strategic decisions in 2026.
Research.com, the androgyny approach, Knowles, principles for 2026.
Wow, that was a mouthful. Ropes and Gray. I don't even know what the heck what is that? Risk and compliance in 2026, trade scrutiny and AI.
I clicked on the how do you say that word?
Andragogy.
What is andragogy?
adult learning, like pedagogy, but andragogy. Pedagogy is learning for kids, and andragogy is adult learning. Wait till you get introduced to hudagogy.
What is that?
It's self created learning on your own, just learning, just learning.
Geriatric Gaji. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Houston Partnership, HR and Talent Trends, the rise of autonomous AI agents.
Research.com, again, 5 cognitive theories for visuals in 2026 education.
WSU Insider, bee scientist hosting International Pollinator Conference.
Ooh, that sounds
too niche even for us. See, no humor.
Executive producer, you are on point. That is fantastic. UNESCO, launch of observatory on AI in education for Latin America.
ServiceNow stock price rises on AI platform endorsement.
Ooh, Corn Ferry, the return to office tug of war, 2026 statistics.
And the last one, 80 icebreaker questions for work in 2026. In parentheses, because we've all suffered enough. So good.
I just want to hug the executive producer, and I don't know how.
Unfortunately, the link for that one is the androgogy is the androgogy one. But man, that's awesome. Yeah, because we've all suffered enough. It's one of those things where as soon as somebody says, "Hey, it can't do this," just wait.
Someone hears it. Just open up your chat bot the next day, and
I will figure that out. It's kind of like the one of the things that was out there on the whole on how good some of the AI created video stuff is right now.
Oh yeah,
like so amazing. Good. And one of the things that they had highlighted is it won't be able to react. So like an actor will be able, or an actress will be able to react to each other. They'll be able to be in the moment and react to the thing that happens. Won't be able to react.
Yes, just and
just wait.
Wait till, so this is going to be the best part. AI improv. 2 AIs doing improv together on a stage with video.
Do add it. Let's see if we can get. I mean, actually, that's basically what's happening here with the script.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if you add the video part to it, I think it takes it to a whole nother level, right? Like 2 AI generated visual representations of the AIs interacting with each other. Yeah. And then so being able to do visual or physical comedy, quote unquote, physical comedy, right? It along with, the written word and the scripted or the spontaneous, conversations that occur. If you've never watched improv, like any type of improv,
just like whose line is it anyway?
It's like whose line is it anyway type stuff. But those guys are pros. Like when you watch the pros do it, they make it look so easy. And of course, while you're watching it, you're thinking to yourself, "That looks like fun. That's like me and my buddy when we're at the bar. We joke around like that, and we're just as funny as they are. We could probably do that."
Well, I mean, that's like me and my buddy when we do our daily show.
Exactly right. No, I'm going to go with no on that. But yeah, so my son did some improv classes. And,
that's cool.
There was like an acting, a small little acting theater group that we just met some folks, and he thought it looked like fun, so he wanted to go do it. And
awesome.
Boy, watching kids learn how to just kind of let go and to not be so self-conscious. I mean, if you've got kids, I would highly encourage you to put your kids into improv. And if you're an adult, go to an adult beginner improv group. It stretches your brain and forces you out of your comfort zone faster than anything will. And it's interesting to watch. So I that's why I get when I think to myself, ooh, what if AI was doing that?
Yeah.
That's why my head goes there, but I'm down a rabbit hole. But I always like to encourage people to do fun things.
It is one of the best things that you can do when it comes to sales training.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's been on my list of things to go and do. But you can, and the reason why I say best thing to do, even though I've not done it, is in order to improv, you have to listen.
You have to listen. Yep.
You have to listen. You have to stay engaged. You have to pick out the nuance. And you can't be thinking, what am I going to do next while the things are going on? Because if you do, you're going to you could miss a really, really interesting and subtle point.
Yeah. Well, and this is where yes and comes from. When you hear people say that, it comes from the improv world. Because it's the foundation for listening. And so it's like whatever they say, you say to you have to agree with that because they're setting you up for something. So you have to acknowledge it, and with your response, you're adding to it, and then they have to do the same thing for you. And this is why there's a particular flow when you see it done well, but it is hard. It is so hard for people to do. Because they want, like you said, your natural instinct is to overthink it. Mine would be. I'm scared to do it. Honestly, I would love to do it, but I am scared to death.
All right, so maybe that's what we're going to set this up as the first sponsor that we get into the show. We're going to take your investment in the show, and Brent and I are going to do improv classes. And we're going to do an improv class together, or at least one kind of thing. And I'll force Brent to do this. So if you want to sponsor the show, or you just want to get Brent and I to do this thing, here's your path. You now have it. You now have a way. And that's one of the next iterations of this, is to start to look at sponsorship. How do we kind of get in here and be able to fund the additional development that we want to do, as you kind of integrate some new tech into this version of it. So if you know somebody out there who is looking to get their message out into the emerging and enablement tech space, point them to the show, have them watch. They see these two guys go back and forth and leverage some tools and pull some things together, create some space for a conversation, move some things around. While
see, this is your ad could be right up here at the top, right? We could put your whole entire ad, your company name, or some sort of sponsorship.
See, Brent's doing this in real time, so let us know. And
could be you.
And this is my commitment. We will take that money and we will reinvest in ourselves. And Brent and I will do at least one, if not a couple of, we'll figure out how they do it. Because up in Scottsdale, there's a couple of different places that do that periodically. So we will go through and do some improv training and report back. Improv training sponsored by.
Right. If you're wondering why Brent and Mike suck at what they do, they're better at it now because we sponsored it.
Before and after. You can have before and after clips.
Awesome. Hey, we're over the hour. That means I got to bug out of here.
All right. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody. Oh, yes. Tomorrow, the last day of our week.
Last day of our week. Head to livewithbrentmike.com. Join us in the Slack channel. Keep the conversation going there. Share what you're working on, and we'll continue to help you go from what if to what's next.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.